Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with another brand new brew review for you guys. Today we are gonna talk about another Spanish beer, one I've been looking forward to. This is the Alhambra Rioja Reserva, or Reserva Rioja. Now, Reserva, you might hear the word reserve in there, and Rioja or Roja stands for, well, red or dark, basically. Now, first thing that springs to mind is that this is a very nice embossed bottle. So it's not printed, it's not labeled, it is embossed. So no label to collect here. They do have a nice branded bottle cap. There is some text on this bottle, quite hard to read in this light, but what I can tell you is that this is a 7.2% Bock beer. So we already know that the Spanish took a lot of their beer tradition from Belgium, but mainly from Holland. And in Holland they have a long-lasting Bock beer tradition. I even think that currently there is a Bock beer batch on Untapped. So yeah, this one probably counts for that as well. But what is Bock beer? We are going to make a different video about that, but mainly this is a more amber or copper colored beer with some roasted, toasted malts and stuff like that. Oftentimes it is quite dry and fruity. At the same time, they do have a longer fermentation period. So longer fermentation means less leftover sugars and means a bit of a drier beer. I'm not gonna say it's like a saison, but that is the gist behind that. Okay, so that was it all in short, in quick tempo. Let's go for it, right? And I am very curious for this one because you guys know that I'm a sucker for cool bottles. Yeah, right off the bat, exactly what I expected. A very nice copper colored, let's call it an amber beer. Very clear though. I would have expected this a bit more hazy, but nonetheless a very beautiful beer. Some nice slight light beige foam with an orangey glow on there. Some quite dense foam. We have a lot of big bubbles on top, but the foam itself, the head of foam, is very dense. A lot of tiny bubbles. Also some purling in the glass, so up until now quite fine, I'd say. Ooh, that scent is not entirely what I expected. It's not unpleasant, not at all. It's quite nice actually, but I would have expected this a bit sweeter, even though I just told you guys that this is long fermented, so a minimum of leftover sugars. But still, I would have expected this a bit sweeter in that more Dutch tradition. However, the scent mainly has some roasty, some roasty smell, slightly floral, and a bit herbal. Now, as far as I know, no herbs or spices were added to this beer. Yeah, very nice. Like I said, quite roasty, or I should say toasty. There we go. Cheers. Ooh, that is a very pleasant surprise. Let me do a quick test here. Yeah, as I expected. First off, yeah, quite roasty. I could compare this to a Palm, the Belgian beer Palm, or in Dutch hands, but nonetheless a Belgian beer. It is quite roasty, it is quite dry, it is slightly bitter it is. It has a very tiny sweet edge, but you can tell that there's not a lot of sugar left in there. At first taste, I would have said it's quite thin, but actually that's not true. It has a very pleasant round mouthfeel. I might be drinking this a bit colder than I should, so let's see what the warming up gives. Now, that tiny trick with the foam and smelling my hand is because when I put my nose in the glass to have my first sip, I got this this thin rusty scent, metallic scent, and tipping the foam, putting it on your hand, on your thumb, and sniffing it quickly is an easy trick to see if there's a lot of iron in your beer. Now, is there something wrong with that? No, not really. It can be a sign of oxidation on one side, but it can also just be a sign of, well, using water that has a lot of iron in it. I know that, for example, Boulevard Brewery in Kansas City is very sensitive when it comes to iron in the water. So next time you're drinking a Tank 7, smell. But this one has quite a bit of iron. However, we really don't mind. Does nothing off for the beer. It also has a very pleasant, lingering aftertaste. Even though the beer is relatively thin, I wouldn't say watery, but just quite thin, the aftertaste still really lingers because it has a lot of bitterness in there as well. Then on the back of the tongue and in the throat, all the weak tissues here, they are all stingy with that bitterness. And that is one factor that keeps your aftertaste lingering on longer. Now, this also has a quite pleasant aftertaste with that tiny bit of sweetness in there. So you get a long-lasting bittersweet aftertaste. And as a brewer, that is something that you can only hope for. Because that keeps your beer on people's minds. And they will be easily convinced to have a second one. Okay, I am pleasantly surprised. So as for the verdict, how should we score this? Let's call this an even 3.5. Very average, slightly above average, but nonetheless a very, very good beer. Now, I am not the biggest fan of Bock beers. I do enjoy them from time to time. I didn't grow up with that tradition, even though I currently live right on the Dutch border. But nonetheless, a very nice, very well-made beer. Again, Alhambra, the things that I had from them were all quite good. I think I have one more in the cellar, maybe two. So let's hope that they are all equally as good. Yeah, 3.5 out of 5. But that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, if you like this video, let me know down in the comments or hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell thingy so you'll get notified whenever I upload something. And with that all being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.